No one visited Sector 9 anymore. Not traders, not scouts, not even war fleets. The region had been marked in every known database as one thing: unrecoverable. Commander Valen stood at the observation deck, staring down on the planet below. Gray clouds covered most of its surface, broken only by violent storms that rolled across the continents like something alive. Lightning flashed constantly, illuminating oceans that looked too dark, too still. "This is it?" one of the crew members asked behind him. Valen didn't answer immediately. His eyes remained locked on the world. "Yes," he said finally. "Designation Terra-X." The name meant nothing to most species, but to the few who knew, it meant death. The bridge was quiet, unnaturally quiet. Even the most experienced officers avoided looking directly at the planet, because everyone had heard the stories. A prison world, but not like the others, not created by a galactic council, not created to contain one species. This one was different. "Scans confirm life," another officer said, her voice tight. "Multiple signals moving across the surface." Valen nodded slowly. "Of course there are. That was the problem." The ship drifted closer. Clouds parted for a moment, and for the first time they saw it clearly. Ruins, massive structures long abandoned, cities swallowed by storms, and something else: movement, fast, unnatural. One of the junior crew members leaned forward, squinting at the display. "What are those?" The image zoomed in. Figures, dozens of them, running, fighting, surviving, on a world that should have killed them in hours. Valen's jaw tightened. "Humans," he said. The word alone shifted the atmosphere. Some of the crew stepped back slightly, others froze, because humans were not supposed to be here, not anymore. They were exiled here centuries ago, criminals, rebels, war survivors. "Then how are they still alive?" someone whispered. No one answered, because the truth was worse than the question. The ship's sensors beeped sharply. "Commander, we're detecting structures below the surface." "Show me." The display changed, revealing something hidden beneath the ruined cities. A network, massive, organized, active. Not ruins, not abandoned, functioning. Valen leaned forward slightly. His voice dropped. "That's not possible." Another officer spoke slower now. "Commander, energy readings are increasing." "How much?" A pause. Then, "Too much." The lights flickered briefly across the bridge. The entire ship vibrated, not from outside, from below, from the planet. Something was waking up. Valen's eyes narrowed. "Pull us back." Too late. The surface cracked. Not like an earthquake, not like natural movement. This was controlled, precise, intentional. A massive section of land shifted, opened, and something rose from beneath it. Metal, black, ancient but not broken. A structure, no, a weapon. Silence filled the bridge. Every crew member stared, frozen. Then the signal hit. A transmission, direct, clear, not scrambled, not ancient, live. The audio activated automatically. Static filled the room for a half-second. Then a voice, calm, deep, human. "You shouldn't be here." No fear, no panic, just certainty. Valen felt something cold run through his spine. "How are they transmitting?" someone whispered. No one answered, because no one understood. The voice came again, slightly sharper this time. "You found the cage." A pause. Then, We built it so nothing would ever escape. The bridge went silent, completely silent, because in that moment, everyone realized the same thing. This wasn't a prison to keep humans in. It was a prison to keep something else out. The bridge didn't move. No one spoke. No one even breathed too loudly, because the voice, it wasn't afraid. It wasn't warning them. It was stating a fact. You shouldn't be here. Commander Valen stepped forward slowly, his eyes fixed on the display. "Identify yourself," he said, his voice steady but tighter than before. Static crackled. Then the same voice returned, closer now, clearer. "Designation doesn't matter." A pause. Then, "You're already too close." A low vibration rolled through the ship, not external impact, internal systems reacting. Warning lights flickered across the control panels. "Commander," the sensor officer said, her voice strained, "energy readings are spiking again, from the surface." "How high?" She hesitated, then whispered, "Higher than a war-class reactor." That wasn't possible. Nothing on a prison world should produce that kind of power. Valen's gaze sharpened. "Show me everything." The main display shifted, zooming deeper, past the storms, past the ruined cities, into the underground network they had detected earlier. And that's when they saw it. Not structures, not machines, movement. Something massive, moving beneath the surface, slow, deliberate, like it had been sleeping and now was turning in its sleep. One of the crew members stepped back. "What is that?" No one answered, because no one had ever seen anything like it. The signal came again, the human voice, slightly different this time, more direct. "You scanned too deep." Valen clenched his jaw. "What is this place?" he demanded. Silence. For a moment, it seemed like the connection had dropped. Then, "You really don't know." Not a question, a realization. The voice continued. "We sent out warnings." No one listened. The ship trembled again, stronger this time. The planet below them shifted, entire sections of land cracking open, not randomly, not violently, precisely, like something underneath was pushing upward, trying to reach the surface. The crew watched in horror as one of the cracks widened and something moved inside it. Not fully visible, just a glimpse. Dark, too large to understand, too wrong to describe. The feed distorted for a second, then stabilized. Valen's voice dropped. "What did you put down there?" The answer came immediately. "We didn't put it there." A pause. Then, "We locked it there." The temperature on the bridge seemed to drop instantly. Every crew member felt it, that shift, that realization. This wasn't a prison for humans. Humans were the guards. "Commander," the sensor officer shouted, "it's reacting to us." "Explain." "Whatever is below, it's responding to our presence. Energy levels are rising rapidly." "How rapidly?" She didn't answer. She just turned the display toward him. Numbers climbed faster than systems could track, spiking, climbing, breaking expected limits. The voice came again, now sharper, more urgent. "You need to leave." Valen didn't move. Or what? For the first time, there was something different in the response. Not fear, not panic, something worse. acceptance, or it wakes up fully. Silence filled the bridge, then a new sound, not from the speakers, not from the systems, from below. A low, deep, inhuman sound, like something ancient was drawing its first breath in centuries. The planet's surface split further, massive plates of land shifting apart, storms spiraling violently as energy surged upward from beneath. And then they saw it. Not fully, not clearly, but enough. A shape, rising, vast, wrong, alive. One of the crew members dropped to the floor, another backed away from the console in pure instinct. "This isn't a prison," someone whispered. "No," Valen said quietly, his eyes locked on the screen, his voice barely above a breath. "This is a cage." The transmission came one last time, calm again, controlled, final. "We built this place." A pause. Then, because even we couldn't kill it. And in that moment, Valen understood something no one in the galaxy had ever truly known. Humans were not the most dangerous species. They were the ones who survived what couldn't be destroyed.
No one on the bridge moved. No one spoke, because what they were looking at should not exist. The surface of Terra-X split wider, entire land masses shifting apart as something beneath forced its way upward. Storms twisted violently above it, lightning striking again and again like the planet itself was trying to push it back down. But it kept rising, slow, unstoppable. The first thing they saw clearly was its size. It was wrong. Not just large, not just massive. Wrong. Like reality itself didn't know how to contain it. Its form shifted as it moved, not unstable, but undefined. Limbs, if they were limbs, unfolded and reformed as it climbed upward. Its surface absorbed light instead of reflecting it. The scanners failed instantly. Numbers collapsed into error. One of the crew members whispered, "We can't measure it." Commander Valen didn't respond, because for the first time in his career, he didn't have a command to give. The voice came again, the human, calm, unchanged. "You stayed too long." Valen forced himself to speak. "What is that?" A pause, longer this time. Then, "We don't have a name for it." Another tremor shook the ship, stronger now. The creature was fully awake, and it knew they were there. "It existed before we found this system," the voice continued. "It doesn't think like you. It doesn't live like you." Another pause. Then, "It consumes." The word echoed through the bridge. Simple, final. Below them the creature moved again, faster now. The ground shattered as it climbed higher, its shape expanding, stretching, adjusting as if the planet itself was too small to contain it anymore. "Commander!" the sensor officer shouted. "It's locking onto us!" "How? We don't know!" The ship lurched violently. Alarms screamed, systems overloaded, not from attack, from proximity. Just being near it was enough. Valen gripped the console. "Prepare jump, now!" "Drive isn't responding." Of course it wasn't, because this wasn't a battle. This wasn't something you fought. This was something you survived. The human voice returned, sharper now, focused. "You can't outrun it like this." Valen's head snapped toward the comm. "Then tell me how." For the first time, there was something new in the voice. Not emotion, not fear. Respect. "You don't." Silence. Then, "We do."
The planet shifted again, but this time it wasn't the creature, it was the structure, the massive black structure they had seen earlier, the weapon. It activated. Lines of energy ignited across its surface, glowing deep orange through the storm. The ground around it stabilized instantly, as if something ancient had just come back online. Energy spike detected, the officer shouted. How high? Beyond measurable! The structure rose higher, locking into position, aimed, not at space, at the creature. The human voice spoke again, calm, controlled, final. This is why we stayed. The creature reacted, its form shifted violently, sensing the threat. Too late. The weapon fired. There was no sound, no explosion, just light. Pure, blinding, impossible light. It struck the creature directly, and for the first time, it stopped. Not destroyed, not dead, but held, frozen, pinned in place by something far beyond conventional power. The storms above the planet stabilized, the ground stopped shaking, everything went still. The bridge was silent, completely silent. Then the voice came one last time. We don't protect the galaxy. A pause. Then, we protect it from what we couldn't destroy. Valen stared at the screen, at the creature, at the planet, at the truth. Humans weren't the strongest, they weren't the most advanced, they weren't even the most dangerous. They were something else entirely. They were the ones who stood in front of things that should never exist and refused to let them pass. The transmission ended, the signal vanished, and slowly, very slowly, Commander Valen gave the only order that still mattered. Set a course. Then, quietly, away from this system. Because now he understood, some places in the galaxy weren't meant to be explored, some things weren't meant to be understood, and some species weren't meant to be underestimated.